I cannot wait to get demonetized talking about this one, y'all. I cannot wait to get demonetized, deranked in the algorithm, and hated on by YouTube, because almost certainly that's going to happen. I'm going to take a wild stab here and say this is one of their topics that's in the, like, don't touch that one category. But nonetheless, here we go. So this is in Yahoo News. Ghislaine Maxwell says Jeffrey Epstein was murdered in U.S. jail. So I know you and I filed this under the duh category. I know anybody who's, even casually kept up with this story feels the same way. But remember, you got the official story and then you got the truth. And the official story is usually jammed down everybody's throats. In fact, credit to Yahoo News for even covering this, right? Because I'm sure, like, many of the mainstream media outlets are not going to touch this one. So they go on to say here, convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell has claimed the disgraced late U.S. financier Jeffrey Epstein was murdered in prison in an interview with a British broadcaster that aired on Monday. By the way, I actually got that for you here. Take a look.
No, he didn't. I don't believe he did. I believe that he was murdered. Well, I was shocked. And I wondered how it had happened. Because as far as I was concerned, I was sure he was going to appeal. And I was sure that he was covered under the non-prosecution agreement.
Yeah.
But I wasn't in the indictment. So I wasn't mentioned. I wasn't even one of the co-conspirators.
So there you go. That's what she said. The Oxford-educated daughter of the late British press baron Robert Maxwell is imprisoned in Florida penitentiary after her conviction and 20-year sentence for helping Epstein sexually abuse girls. Epstein, who was facing charges of trafficking underage girls for sex, escaped trial by killing himself in a New York jail in August 2019. Asterisk by killing himself. The autopsy concluded suicide by hanging, although the 66-year-old's sudden death fueled widespread controversy and conspiracy theories. Quote, I believe that he was murdered, former socialite Maxwell said in the series of jailhouse interviews aired on Britain's Talk TV. I was shocked, then I wondered how it happened. Now, here we go. Now it gets juicy. Ready? A forensic pathologist hired by Epstein's brother said in 2019 that evidence suggested that he had been murdered, arguing multiple fractures found in his neck were very unusual for suicide. There's actually a number of pieces of forensic evidence that don't line up with the suicide story. You know what else doesn't really line up with the suicide story? You got some guards who, it's like some sort of cartoon mishap where, but the cameras stopped working, bro. The cameras stopped. I don't even know how it's just cameras. They just went out with the thing in the thing. What do you? Total coincidence. Yeah, I'm sure it was. The U.S. Department of Justice has conducted a years-long investigation into how Epstein was able to hang himself inside New York's Metropolitan Correctional Center, but has not released any evidence of foul play. 2 prison guards on duty, who admitted to falsifying records related to the night he died, were charged later in 2019 over their alleged failure to monitor him. But federal prosecutors dismissed the charges. What do you know? In late 2021, after the pair completed community service work as part of an earlier legal agreement. Well, isn't that mighty convenient? Isn't that? Look, this is one of those things. It doesn't matter where you are on the political spectrum. You could be on the right, you could be on the left, you could be apolitical, you can be the communist, you could be a fascist. This is just a question of what makes sense, what adds up, what doesn't, what's Occam's razor. Come on, the dude was the CEO of Elite Sex Crimes Incorporated. Like, his whole job was, let me take women, sometimes underage women, and let me be their pimp. And my clients are the most powerful people in the world. This guy had dirt on everybody. So if he starts squawking, they're not going to stand for that. So they were probably afraid he's going to flip on us. He's going to give the information. They're going to come after us. It's going to be huge. So what do you do in a situation like that? You know what you do in a situation like that. I'm surprised Ghislaine is still alive, right? I'm surprised. By the way, other really interesting story came out the other day. She said, you know that very famous picture with Prince Andrew with, I forget the name of the young lady who was basically sex trafficked. Now she comes out and says, oh yeah, this guy had his way with me. It's traumatizing. everything, right? And Ghislaine comes out and says, no, that picture was definitely faked. What? And I was joking around online, and I tweeted, you know, that feeling when the royal family threatens your life. But, you know, look, the more you think about it, it's like, that might be actually what happened, right? Because that picture being fake, there was no indication whatsoever that was a fake picture at any point in time previously. The dude, I've showed you guys the interview that Prince Andrew dude did, where he's the most guilty man in America. He may as well have tattooed on his forehead, guilty AF. Like, super guilty. The most obviously guilty person ever. Was stumbling and bumbling and falling all over himself. So, I wasn't sure if that was the way, but I don't remember being there, but maybe I was there. And he says he went to go fly to see Jeffrey Epstein to break up with him in person. He's your friend. He's not your girlfriend or your wife. You flew to meet him to be like, I don't want to pay for vagina anymore. Good time. Bro, what? So I don't know why she said that, but I'll tell you right now, I don't believe it. I think that picture is real as a heart attack, right? So I don't know what's going on, but that don't add up too much. But then now she's saying she thinks Jeffrey Epstein was killed. It's like, well, seems like she's telling the truth on that front because everybody understandably thinks he was killed. It's like, why would you tell the truth here but not tell the truth here? I don't know, man. I do not know, but interesting to hear her say this. I wonder if she fears for her own life. Or does she not know where, like, the black book is with all the information, and therefore she's not a threat, you know? But what does she know? What does she know? Because we know all the rich and famous and powerful people, politicians, business leaders, celebrities that Jeffrey Epstein was involved with. We know it. Including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. That's why it's so funny. I always see Don Jr. talking about this issue and, like, talking about Epstein's black book and all this stuff's got to come out. And it's like, my dude, there's about 412 pictures of your dad hanging out with Jeffrey. There's pictures of him whispering to her about girls, saying, oh yeah, that one's hot. The idea of, like, bro, you know what happened? Trump figured out what was going on, and he said, good sir, I'm done with you. Does anybody believe that? Does Donald Trump seem like the person with a strong moral core who'd be like, something smells fishy here. Is this sex trafficking? No. Everybody knows who Donald Trump is, what Donald Trump is. And Don Jr. He's so dumb, he's leading the charge on the Epstein stuff without realizing, dog, your dad is going to be super implicated. There's stories for days, I'm sure, about Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Why did Jeffrey Epstein have a picture in his house of Bill Clinton wearing a dress? Like, what? Anyway, you guys know my theory on it. This video is so demonetized and so deranked, it's amazing. You guys know my theory on it, but there's enough evidence to believe that he was Mossad, that Jeffrey Epstein was Mossad, Israeli intelligence, collecting damaging information, using it for blackmail, basically. That seems to me to be Occam's razor. But, you know, I guess we'll never know the full story, and that's a bit of a shame. Anyway, guys, that's the show. I love y'all very much. Do me a favor, like the channel, like the show, like the video. I'm a moron and I've been on air too long. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, try to get us over that 1 million mark. I'd really appreciate that, y'all. Click that little bell icon so you get a notification every single time a new video drops. You can support the show on Patreon. That really helps us, especially with this new crackdown on cursing that's happening on YouTube. Sometimes our editor, Peter's great, and he'll, like, blank out some curses. Other times they sort of slip through. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys can support on Patreon, I appreciate it. $2 a month, $5 a month, whatever you can afford. If not, no big deal. I still love you to death. You can also support us on Substack, Crystal Kyle and Friends. Really appreciate that as well. And yeah, that's all I really got for you. And remember, just with the whole, like, YouTube crackdown thing, you can always listen to the full shows on Spotify. And, you know, that might be the better move in the long run, just because it feels like you were swimming against a tsunami here on YouTube, and it's kind of unfair. So, you know, Spotify may be a little bit more of an equal playing field, so check that over there. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.